When it comes to what men notice about women, the truth is far from what you might think. It's not your figure, your makeup, or even the way you dress that truly sticks in their minds. Men notice far more profound things, and if you've been telling yourself it's all about appearances, you're not only wrong, you might be the reason things aren't working out in your relationships. Let's get into the raw reality of what men pick up on, whether you realize it or not. 1. How you treat people around you. If you think how you treat the waiter, the cashier, or even your coworkers doesn't matter, you're mistaken. Men notice the little things, like how quickly you dismiss someone when they don't serve your purpose. Are you impatient with someone who gets your coffee order wrong? Do you roll your eyes when someone takes too long at the register? These small moments speak volumes, and if you're the kind of person who only shows kindness to those who can do something for you, don't be surprised if men start pulling away. Here's the truth you might not want to hear. A man who respects himself is looking for someone who treats everyone with decency, not just the people who matter to her in the moment. If you're rude to others but sweet to him, he sees through it. That two-faced behavior doesn't scream high value or partner material. It screams selfishness. Because deep down, he knows that one day, when he's no longer giving you what you want, you'll treat him the same way. If you've been overlooked or dumped by men you thought cared about you, stop blaming them and start asking yourself whether you've been self-absorbed in the way you treat people. Are you kind because it's the right thing to do, or because you want something in return? Men notice this, and it's often the quiet reason they lose respect for you. The way you treat others is the most honest reflection of your character, and men with integrity won't tolerate a partner who doesn't live up to basic decency. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing that you care about the people around you, even when there's nothing in it for you. 2. How you handle stress. You can tell a lot about someone by how they act when things don't go their way. Men notice how you react to stress, not because they expect you to be unshakable, but because it reveals your ability to navigate life's challenges without spiraling out of control. Do you lash out, throw blame around, or crumble under pressure? Or do you take a moment to think, assess the situation, and move forward? No one wants to deal with someone who turns every inconvenience into a full-blown crisis. Men don't want to be your emotional punching bag when things go wrong. And if you've made a habit of unloading all your frustration onto others, don't be surprised if men start to distance themselves. It's exhausting being with someone who lacks emotional regulation, and sooner or later, they'll decide it's not worth the toll it takes. You might think, but I've been under so much pressure lately. Guess what? So is everyone else. The difference is how you choose to handle it. When you let your emotions rule your actions, it doesn't make you passionate or authentic. It makes you someone who's hard to be around. Men notice when you can't keep it together, and it makes them question whether you're capable of being a supportive partner during tough times. 3. How self-absorbed you are. Let's be honest, most people are self-centered to some degree, but there's a difference between being confident and being completely wrapped up in yourself. Men notice when every conversation, every decision, and every moment revolves around you. If you're constantly talking about your own problems, your own achievements, and your own desires, don't expect a man to stick around for long. It's exhausting to be with someone who doesn't take the time to ask how the other person is feeling, or what they might need. Relationships are about give and take, but if you're only taking, men notice, and they resent it. A man might not say anything at first, but over time, your self-absorption becomes a wedge that pushes him further and further away. You might think, but I'm just confident and focused on my goals. Confidence is attractive. Selfishness isn't. There's a big difference between knowing your worth and expecting the world to revolve around you. If you can't make room for someone else's needs and feelings, then don't be surprised when they start pulling away. 4. Your ability to listen. If you think listening is just about nodding and waiting for your turn to talk, you're doing it wrong. Men notice when you genuinely engage with what they're saying, and they also notice when you don't. If you're constantly interrupting, steering the conversation back to yourself, or zoning out when they're opening up, you're sending a clear message: what you're saying doesn't matter to me. And let's be clear, this isn't just about being polite. Listening is one of the most fundamental ways to show respect and care. If you can't be bothered to really hear someone out, why should they invest in you? Men notice when you don't listen, and it's one of the quickest ways to make them feel unappreciated and undervalued. If you're the type who's always waiting for your turn to speak, it's time to rethink how you communicate. Listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about understanding the person behind them. Men notice when you take the time to ask thoughtful questions, remember details, and show that you genuinely care about what they're saying. 5. How you respect boundaries. Respecting boundaries is not optional, it's foundational. Men notice when you respect their time, space, and individuality, and they certainly notice when you don't. If you're the type who constantly texts, calls, or demands attention, without considering whether the other person is busy or needs a moment for themselves, you're not being attentive, you're being intrusive. A man who feels smothered will eventually pull away. This doesn't mean he doesn't care, it means he values his autonomy, and so should you. If you're always demanding to know where he is, who he's with, or why he didn't respond right away, you're not showing love, you're displaying insecurity. Men notice this behavior, and it doesn't make them feel closer to you. It makes them feel suffocated. Healthy boundaries are about trust and respect. If a man sets a limit, whether it's needing time to work, pursue hobbies, or simply unwind, it's not your job to take it personally or try to change it. Men notice when you honor their boundaries because it shows maturity and emotional intelligence. It tells them you're someone who values partnership, not control. 6. How much you complain. Nobody wants to be around someone who complains constantly, and men notice this more than you think. If every conversation revolves around what went wrong at work, how unfair life is, or how other people have let you down, you're not venting, you're draining. Complaining doesn't make you relatable, it makes you exhausting. When all you focus on is the negative, it's not just your mood that suffers, it's your relationships. Men notice when you bring a cloud of negativity into every interaction. It makes them feel like they can never do enough to make you happy, and over time, they stop trying. Why? Because it's easier to disengage than to constantly be the one trying to lift you out of your own misery. This doesn't mean you can't share your struggles or seek support, but there's a difference between sharing and wallowing. If you're always looking for something to complain about, you're training your mind and your partner's perception of you to focus on what's wrong rather than what's right. Men notice when a woman is solution-oriented and resilient, and they admire it. They also notice when a woman drowns in self-pity, and it turns them off. 7. How you handle conflict. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but how you handle it defines whether the relationship will thrive or fall apart. Men notice when you can't argue without turning it into a shouting match or bringing up unrelated grievances just to score points. If your go-to strategy during a disagreement is to attack, deflect, or shut down entirely, you're not solving anything. You're escalating the problem. The truth is, conflict isn't about winning or losing. It's about resolution. Men notice when you can calmly express your feelings, listen to their perspective, and work together to find a solution. This doesn't mean you have to agree on everything, but it does mean you need to approach disagreements with maturity and respect. If you can't, you're not building a relationship. You're breaking it. And let's not forget about timing. If you're the type to bring up serious issues during the worst possible moments, like when he's stressed, tired, or distracted, don't be surprised if he starts avoiding you. Men notice when you're considerate of their mental state, and they appreciate it. Conversely, they also notice when you disregard it, and it chips away at their willingness to engage with you. 8. Your priorities. Men notice what you prioritize in life, and if your actions don't align with your words, they see right through it. If you say your relationship is important, but spend more time scrolling through your phone or gossiping with friends than you do investing in your connection, he'll notice. Actions speak louder than words, and men are far more observant than you give them credit for. People make time for what matters to them. If your priorities are out of sync with what you claim to value, don't expect men to stick around. They notice when you're more invested in your social media likes or your career ambitions than in nurturing the relationship. This doesn't mean you can't have goals or a life outside of the relationship. But if he always feels like an afterthought, it's only a matter of time before he walks away. Men are drawn to women who are balanced and intentional. They notice when you make time for the relationship, even amidst a busy schedule. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistency. Showing up, being present, and genuinely valuing his time and effort speak louder than any words ever could. 9. Your integrity. Finally, men notice your integrity, or lack thereof. Do you keep your promises, or are you constantly making excuses? Do you stand by your principles, or do you change them depending on who's watching? Integrity isn't just about honesty. It's about consistency, reliability, and doing the right thing even when it's inconvenient. Men notice when you say one thing and do another. If you promise to be there for him, but bail the moment something better comes along, he'll remember. If you criticize others for their flaws, but fail to acknowledge your own, he'll notice that too. And over time, these small betrayals of trust add up, eroding the foundation of the relationship. Integrity is attractive because it signals that you're dependable and grounded. Men are drawn to women who stand firm in their values and aren't easily swayed by outside influences. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest, consistent, and true to yourself. The things men notice first aren't about looks. They're about character. From how you treat others to how you handle stress and conflict, these traits reveal who you really are. If this knowledge has made you uncomfortable, that's a sign to reflect and make changes. Growth comes from facing the truth, and while it might sting, it's the only way to build a life and relationships worth having.